And then 2 days after I docked, we had a cargo vehicle show up. And we need cargo vehicles to give us all the supplies for the space station and all the science. The Cygnus, which was the first one that showed up, is unique in that we can actually put scientific experiments on that vehicle, and when it undocks, it'll fly for a couple more weeks doing those experiments before it goes into the atmosphere and burns up. And it's a great example of teamwork. So this is what I said, and be in space with nothing but a little visor in between you and outer space. And check out the first step. It's pretty nice. And it gives you an appreciation for just how big the space station is. It's the size of a football field. So if you look here, this big old space station, that little teeny thing right there is Peggy. So that gives you an idea of just how huge the space station is. It's ginormous. Inside, it's the size of a 5-bedroom house. So it's a very big place. We had to do another spacewalk a couple weeks later because one of our computers that controls the external systems broke, and so we had to go outside and fix it. We also installed some antennas that are going to be used for the new commercial crew vehicles to bring astronauts from the United States, launching from the United States starting next year. And you're definitely, you gotta have a big old smile on your face when you come in from a spacewalk, because it's about the coolest thing you see. Another thing we do is take a lot of pictures. So we take pictures of cities and towns. This is a desert, forest fires, glaciers. We look for all glaciers all over the world, volcanoes, old and new. We actually cover 95% of the habitable volume of the planet in our orbit, so we can see all sorts of things. Typhoons, cyclones. It's hard to see, but you can see the shadow from the eclipse that went across the United States this year. We also look at erosion and sedimentation all over the world. By just taking these pictures of things that are beautiful, the scientists can get information about our Earth, whether it's irrigation, algae growth, all sorts of things from every single picture that we take. Different types of plant life. You have different growth of algae and fish. You can see different currents in the water. You can see shipping lanes. This is the Bahamas, and it is one of the prettiest things you ever did see from orbit. It's the brightest blue that you can even imagine. Water is great because you'll be flying over a lake and it looks normal. A few seconds later you can see the currents in the lake just from the angle of the sun. Then it looks like mercury or something goofy. And then a few seconds later, with the low angle of the sun, it looks like it's on fire. It's so amazing. I spent so much time in our window called the cupola at the bottom of the space station taking pictures. And one of the neater set of pictures that I took was just, I call them perspective changers. Like sunrises and sunsets, we get 16 of them a day. It takes 7 seconds for the sun to come from below the horizon to above the horizon. But boy, is it worth it. You get some of the most amazing sunsets and sunrises you'll ever see, with layers and colors that are almost hard to imagine. Even with, when you include the space station in that view, you feel more like you're a part of it. And it really gives you a sense of the grandeur of our Earth. You get to see things like this, the moon going down over the side of the Earth, and this time lapse that you just can't see on Earth. And stars are my favorite. Really, nighttime was my favorite, because when you look down at the Earth, you could see the lightning and you could see the lights, and it was like almost there was a heartbeat to the planet as you go around it, almost talking to you. And of course, then there was the aurora with its greens, purples, and whites. It was dancing almost like it was alive. It was one of the coolest things I ever saw. And when you look the other direction, you got to see more stars than you can even imagine. And this is a picture of the disks of the Milky Way. I did a time lapse where you can see them actually rotate as we're going around the planet. And it really does change it because you understand what a small part we are in the universe. We also have to share this with everybody, so we do PR events. And this was the first 4K live downlink that they did, and they asked me what my favorite movie was.
For me, it was definitely The Right Stuff. As a test pilot, who, you know, Edwards was my second home. You know the start where he's like flying through the clouds, and he's talking about there's a demon that lives on the Vader, and then the plane crashes, it explodes, it goes to color. That's just so awesome. And then also Spaceballs, because we're basically flying at ludicrous speed right now.
But in addition to the science, we have to live and work, right? So we have to do all the things that you do down here. We have to give ourselves bad haircuts. We have to use a vacuum just in case we lose some of the hair so it doesn't go in our buddy's eyeball. We have to suck out the filters with all our nastiness every week, just like you guys cleaning your room. We have to go to the bathroom. It's all about suction. The bucket is for number 2 and the hose is for number 1. We gotta do that. We watch movies every Friday night. We put little bungee cords down